Have you ever wanted to get into cryptocurrency mining? Maybe mine one of the top cryptocurrencies when ranked by CoinMarketCap, or we can at least say within the top 100. And maybe you didn't want to spend tens of thousands of dollars. How about a cryptocurrency mining rig that costs less than $1,000? And yes, it is profitable. It earns more money than it burns in your electricity bill. No matter the rate. Obviously, the better rate you have, the more profitable it'll be. My name's Vosk. You're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. Today, we're going to review a mining rig. Cryptocurrency mining really is crazy these days. Today we're going to break down a miner. Specifically, it's the iPollo V1 Mini Classic, the 130 mega hash a second version. I know the name's a little confusing, especially if you've seen the rest of the lineup, but let's kind of jump into it, talk about the good, the bad, and the real ugly elephant in the room. I'm sorry, I love elephants, but we got an ugly one in the room, and we need to talk about them. So when we click over and we look at mining profitability, it's Ethereum miner, ETH miner, ETH miner, ETH miner, ETH miner, pretty much. I mean, we see the Cadena miner, we see the Dogecoin script miner and stuff like that. But when we really go by algorithm, we look at ETH hash here, there's a lot of very profitable mining rigs. A lot of people are going to get hurt in a real bad way with Ethereum miners. So when we click over, we go to this, right? We see a $10,000 Ethereum and Ethereum Classic miner. It's very powerful. It's very profitable, right? Projected mining profitability on this device is basically $50 a day after you pay a residential electric bill. They made a bunch of them, and at least of those that they've released publicly, and they've sold out, and they're not listed here anymore. You show the sold out products, and then we can see it there. We look at how many dollars are mined per day in Ethereum. It's $21 million. Ethereum makes more money per day that you can mine, obviously in their own coin, ETH, right? Than Bitcoin, which is twice its market cap. Furthermore, there's something else called Ethereum Classic, which is kind of like the original Ethereum, at least blockchain, but none of the Ethereum developers in the face of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, okay? And y'all seen the recent pictures of him on Twitter. This ain't a guy you mess with, all right? So, Ethereum Classic only emits $500,000 per day. Ethereum is closer to emitting $21.5 million per day. So the concern is what happens when Ethereum is no longer mineable, because per Mr. Buterin here, butter in your biscuits, all right, it's supposed to end kind of soon. And the Ethereum merge is one of the most powerful catalysts in crypto history, and it's quickly approaching. I'm pretty interested myself for numerous reasons. All my bitter and grumpiness, saltiness on that front aside, which I've basically just gotten over and given up on Ethereum ever caring about miners. That's a whole nother subject, right? You know, everything you look at, new client release, set for the merge, this passed, this works, whatever else. I mean, look at the man. He's too powerful. Okay, it's like we're playing a game and he's overpowered. I bring all this up seriously because while this landscape is so profitable to mine right now, it is going to most likely quickly change. If you buy any Ethereum or Ethereum Classic miners right now, you are betting against basically the ETH devs getting done what they want to get done. But I will say on that same note is that they've been trying to move to proof of stake, ETH 2.0, for half a decade. Is it finally here? Tune in next week to find out. So, Million Miner made today's video possible. They sent me the iPollo V1 Mini Classic 130 mega hash a second version. It only consumes 100 watts. Okay, you can also buy these direct from iPollo. They have finally opened up a web store, so I'll link both of these options out in the video description below, but I would like to have a special thank you to Million Miner because they're the ones who sent us this miner to review. The amount of memory on this device is 3.6 gigabytes of usable memory. That's important when it comes to the DAG file for mining Ethereum or really ETH hash coins, right? So we go over to our mining pool here. I click over to Ethereum Classic and I have two workers pulled up, or have two workers here in my worker section. I have basically a bigger version of this that mines at almost double the speed. They're the same thing, but one is just literally twice as powerful and twice as expensive. It's just called the Plus version that mines Ethereum Classic. So the performance of this miner has been good overall, but there is something very interesting I'm going to break down why this is actually the worst Apollo miner I have by very far. But let's talk about earnings before then. We're mining 0.15 Ethereum Classic a day. This is the 20th biggest cryptocurrency when ranked by CoinMarketCap. This brings us to 0.151 ETC Ethereum Classic to USD is $5. But you may notice that that hash rate breakdown is incorrect. It's basically 1/3 of the mining power. So what we could do here is just times this by 33, and that will give us a pretty simple 0.05. And I know what you're thinking, Vosk. Easy math. I can do math. Whatever. I keep it classic by using the calculator. And my teacher said I wouldn't always have one in my pocket. You lied. You lied, Mr. Stevenson.
So that's how it's gonna be.
So this comes out to a whopping 1.64. However, this mining profitability is actually a little bit higher than it's projected. So it's supposed to make $1.56 a day and cost 30 cents a day on a 12 cent per kilowatt hour electric rate, bringing us $1.26. However, we're actually making about $1.35 here. So you may be like, well, that's not a lot of money. That doesn't interest me. Well, that's what happens when you get cheaper miners, Jimmy. Cheaper miners make less money. Let's break it out over the next year. $500. So we break it out over the next 2 years, and you would pretty much get your money back because Apollo sells these for about $900. The issue, though, is that a lot of hash rate is supposed to flood onto Ethereum Classic. Personally, I think this is a cool miner. I like the form factor. It's fun, but I don't think you'll ever make your money back on it, to be blunt. And if you want to get it to check out a hobby, things like that, I understand that. I can't even access the interface on this thing anymore. I just can't. When I go to the IP address, nothing. And I have the shields down, I have the shields up, I use different browsers, things like that. I cannot access the device. But you saw the tower of these miners. I have numerous Apollo miners that are all actually literally in the same spot on the same network. I'm accessing all this with the same browser, same everything. And I can get into the other two, but I can't access the actual miner we are reviewing. So I can't recommend it in the slightest there. And I'm not trying to push Gold Shell. I think Gold Shell have done things well. I think they've done things terrible. I think they've price gouged and things like that. But like for me personally, I would rather buy a KD Box Pro for this a couple $100 more. And it's smaller, it's quieter, it's more profitable, and you're just likely to have a better miner, better user interface. I mean, there's some other cheap miners on here, $200, $310. Look, these things aren't cash cows or anything like that. And again, I'm not trying to push Gold Shell. I don't have an affiliate link. I have a short link. It actually has an affiliate link if you really dissect the URL attached. But they deactivated their affiliate program a couple years ago, I think, at this point. Yeah, I mean, that's really kind of the breakdown of this. Million Miner, who again also made today's video possible. They also resell Gold Shell miners, so I recommend checking them out and using our link to get a discount on your order. But yeah, I mean, really to break it down, I hate this miner because it doesn't work. I can't access the web dashboard. So I mean, I can do like a hard reset, firmware reset and things like that. I could mess around with it, but ironically, even though I cannot access the miner, it's still mining and it's still mining correctly to my address. So I guess it's mine for life. At the end of the day, it's an interesting miner. It kind of feels like a little, too late. I would have loved to see this miner a year, 2 years ago. It would have been much more interesting and in retrospect, much more profitable. So that's really the situation, the breakdown on the Apollo V1 Mini Classic 130 megahash a second version. I do not recommend it. I don't think you'll ever make your money back on it. Mine doesn't even work properly. And my other two do, for whatever it's worth. I think there are alternatives in this price range that are more interesting and just simply more profitable short term and long term and reliable, right? So if you're new to this, I know it's a little late in the video to bring it up, but please watch our how to set up an ASIC miner video. Please watch our electricity guide, just going over the basics of all this stuff. These two videos will hopefully really get you started on, entry into something like this. I really do love mining. I absolutely love mining. It is really cool to have passive income, these little robotic employees. An ASIC miner, it uses ASIC chips, and those are application-specific integrated circuits, right? They're custom chips that only do one thing, right? In this case, they each mine normally only one mining algorithm. And that's all they do. And so they're specialized, so they're very good at it, as opposed to being multi-purpose hardware. And yeah, these are ASIC miners that we've been talking about today. You can grab a GPU to mine, but just much like this miner, mining profitability for GPUs, GPU mining, graphics cards, right? It's going to be absolutely obliterated without Ethereum. And it's really easy to prove my point when you look at the amount of dollars that are emitted per day, and then when you go over and you look at GPU mining profitability calculators, and what do you see? Ethereum, and then the second best coin to mine would be Ethereum, and sometimes the third best coin to mine is ETC hash, which is Ethereum Classic. So it's basically Ethereum 3 different ways. Okay, is that a triple entendre? No, that's not the proper use of it. The proper use of your finger, though, would be clicking the freaking subscribe button and clicking the thumbs up. And hopefully, using the rest of them, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about the video, what you want to see us cover next. Yeah, let me know. As always, seriously, I hope you enjoyed the video. Open to feedback and criticism. We always want to improve the content here. And yeah, as always, we close it out with 10 seconds tails. The cutest Doug in the world. Our resident Shibi DB. The VoskCoin. Thanks for watching. I will see you on the next video.
Shine.